Lynn,
Raymond,
I
hi.
am so happy to see you. Oh
Happy
my
to see
gosh.
you.
Oh my gosh. I've
Hi.
never I've never started an interview like this. I always start very formally, but
Oh,
I just gave up everything when I saw you. I'm so happy to see you.
happy to see you too. I want to hug you. I'm going to hug the computer.
Oh,
Mwah.
things are just working out so wonderfully for
Mm.
Karen and me. We fled the city during the lockdown, and we now live in a three-story luxury log cabin way out in the wilderness with
You
two
do?
indoor saunas, an outdoor hot tub, our own
Oh,
river with our own waterfall.
oh
Deer
my
come
God.
to visit us. Yeah.
Oh, oh, great. How wonderful.
So
I love
wonderful.
that.
And we're going to find out all about you. But now I have to go back to what I am supposed to do in the first
Okay.
place, and
Okay.
that is to introduce you. Okay,
Okay.
so here we go. This this interview, you're going to love it, is about a brand new book called Living a Committed Life: Finding Freedom and Fulfillment in a Purpose Larger Than Yourself. Let me tell you about Lynne Twist. For more than 40 years, she's been a recognized global visionary committed to alleviating poverty and hunger and supporting social justice and environmental sustainability. From her work with Mother Teresa in Calcutta to the refugee camps in Ethiopia and the threatened rainforests of the Amazon, Lynne's on-the-ground work has brought her a deep understanding of the social tapestry of the world. The compelling stories and insights gained from her experiences inspired Lynne to write her best-selling, award-winning book, The Soul of Money: Transforming Your Relationship with Money and Life. The book has been translated into 8 languages. She's the founder of the Soul of Money Institute. She has worked with over 100,000 people in 50 countries on board retreats, workshops, keynote presentations, and one-on-one coaching in the arenas of fundraising with integrity, conscious philanthropy, strategic visioning, and cultivating a healthy relationship with money. But that's not how I want to introduce her. I want to tell you that she is the most wonderful. If I lined up all 4 billion women in the world and rated them according to the contribution they make, how loving they are, and yet on the other side of the coin, how humble she is, Lynne would not only be at the front of the line, she'd be miles ahead of whoever was second.
Oh my
If
God.
if I
Right.
ever grow up, if I ever grow up, and I'm almost 80 years old and I haven't grown up yet, but if I ever grow up, I want to be just like Lynne Twist. I get to go on vacation with her once every year or two. And I heard that she was in the rainforest once doing really good work down there. And so I flew down just to see her and her husband and speak to people who are indigenous to the rainforest. She has brightened my life so much. I'm so honored.
Hmm.
And the purpose of this interview is to introduce you to her, but also to introduce you to her amazing new book. So, Lynne, is there something you'd like to say about yourself that I might have omitted?
Well, I love Raymond Aaron. You didn't say that. And I'm so happy to be on your podcast. And I think you're the most awesome guy. And I love that we're going to have this conversation. And I'm so excited to talk to you because I haven't seen you in a long time and it's too long. And I love seeing you even on the screen. It makes me so happy.
It's true. It's true. So tell us about this brand new book.
Okay. Well, it's called, as you said, Living a Committed Life. And it's really a little bit memoirish, but more it's about the amazing people that I have met in my walk through life that are living what I call a committed life. And a committed life is a life where you put your needs and desires and wants kind of in the background and you put your commitment to make a difference with your life and leave this beautiful planet better than you found it in the foreground. And it's about living a life bigger than your life starring you, which is a wonderful life to lead. But it's kind of when you living a life starring you, you kind of get all caught up in, am I tall enough? Am I thin enough? Am I young enough? Am I smart enough? Am I this enough? Am I that enough? We get caught in judging and evaluating and doubting and being anxious and being worried and all that stuff. And that's human. But when you have a commitment that you really want to make a difference with your life and you put that in the foreground, then all of that noise about, am I good enough? No, 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 is in the background. It doesn't go away completely because we're human beings. But the noise goes down, and the longing and excitement and thrill about making a difference with your life is in the foreground, and that pulls you. And it also reaches back into your life and makes you the kind of person you need to be to fulfill the commitment. So it's not like you have to be all together and with it to make a commitment to do something really miraculous and of service to the world. No, you make that commitment, and then that commitment shapes you into the kind of person who can serve in that way. So it's a beautiful way to live, and I highly recommend it because it's an all hands on deck time on planet Earth.
Yes.
And so we need people to step up, step in, step forward, step out more than they have maybe in their life before. And I want to encourage and inspire and ignite people to do it, because it's not a burden. There's a liberation when you do that, and a kind of freedom to express yourself that I know will serve everybody who's listening. So that's why I wrote the book.
Wow. Wow. Do you know that if I wasn't in love with you, I would have just fallen in love with you over the last couple of minutes? But I have a strange question for you.
Okay.
Are you the amazing person you are, and are you able to collect so much money in donations for wildly important causes because there's something special about you? And I know that you're humble. I really do know that, but I'm asking you to somehow answer me honestly. My listeners might want to live a life like you have, of devoting yourself to giant causes and leaving the world wildly different, but maybe they can't do it. So is there something inherently super special about people like you and, I don't know, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs? Tell me.
Oh, well, I don't know about them. They were all playing a different game than me. So I don't know about them.
Right.
But I do know that there's nothing special about me other than I've made a big commitment to move the world in a direction that I know we all want. And when you make that kind of a commitment, there's that wonderful quote from W.H. Murray, that when you make a commitment that's of service to the world, they say providence moves too. In other words, all kinds of things start to line up to support you. It's completely amazing. So, the money that I raise for the Hunger Project, for the Pachamama Alliance, it's not so much fundraising as it is moving the dial. I consider, I'll just say this with fundraising, that's different than earning money. So I'll just say there's a distinction there, but fundraising is for me holy work. It's having the courage to facilitate the reallocation of the world's financial resources away from what we fear, which is just sucking all of our money, to reallocating those resources to what we love. Let me say a little bit more about that. So to facilitate the reallocation of resources, even if we look at it on the grand scale, so much of the resources in the world are going towards fear, towards bombs, towards weapons, towards destruction, towards overconsumption, towards destroying the very life support system on which we depend. And my job as a fundraiser, and I think any fundraiser's job ultimately, is to facilitate the reallocation of those resources away from those things towards the love and respect and care we have for our families, for our communities, for our world, for future generations, for the community of life, for the natural world, for all children of all species, for all time. So I'm always doing everything I can to move money away from fear and towards love. And along the way, it does nourish me too. So I get, benefit from that. But it's not about, I want to be known for what I allocate, not what I accumulate.
Whoa, Hold on, say that again.
I want to be known for what I allocate, not what I accumulate.
Wow.
And so there's the money for me is it doesn't belong to any of us, or it belongs to all of us. It just moves around. It's like water, and when it's moving, it can purify, it can cleanse, it can make things grow. When it's hoarded and held and stuck, it becomes stagnant and somewhat toxic to those who are holding it. And it doesn't necessarily, it's not that we shouldn't invest money. It's not that you shouldn't save. I'm not saying that, but like blood, when it's moving through the body, it carries nourishment and cleanses and it purifies us. But when it clots, it can kill. So we need to realize that there's enough for our need, but not for our greed. And if we move money towards the highest good, after we've nourished ourselves, taken care of our families, done what's right with money and making sure we feel secure and safe, we can move it on to where it will do the most good for the most folks. So for me, that's fundraising. Now, I know people struggle to make ends meet. I know some people can't pay their rent. I know some people have lost their jobs in COVID. I know that it's really rough out there right now, and the economic conditions are getting worse and worse, and the inflation, all that stuff. So I don't want to step over that, because that's mostly what people are concerned about. At the same time, if you live in a space of what I call sufficiency, this is really more of my last book than the new book, but it's in the new book too, to recognize that you have enough, that you are, mostly that you are enough, and that you have a contribution to make to the world, that your gifts and talents are wanted and being called for, and that you can be compensated for those gifts and talents. But it's not only about the compensation, it's about the gifts and talents being contributed. Things start to flow in life a lot more than when you're desperately in scarcity, trying to accomplish and bring in as much as you can because you don't have enough. So there's a lot to be said for where you're coming from, the space and grace that with which you're walking in the world. And I know you teach that. So I know you are an example of that. You create scenarios of positivity and possibility and sufficiency and enoughness, abundance and depth for people. And that's really, really what life's about. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but that's how I see it.
Well, I'll tell you your two analogies. One, water, when it's still, it's stagnant and can be toxic. And two, blood, when it's still equals death or clotted. That's so perfect. Water is intended to flow. Blood is intended to flow. And money is intended to flow, not to get stuck in people's wallets. And so you just reallocate it to your wonderful good causes.
Yeah, and then I just want to make sure I don't tell everybody, okay, now spend everything you have. No, because that's overconsumption. That's more of the fear thing. Money is an energy, and if it's in service of the highest good, it will always flow in and out of your life in a way that's healthy and good for you. So I believe in investing, I believe in saving, I believe in all that. And I love that you're a prosperous person, Raymond, for example, living in a beautiful cabin in the wilderness with a river and a hot tub and infrared saunas. I love that. That makes me so happy. So yes, I want that for everybody. And I know that your work, it benefits and compensates you because you're making a difference in people's lives, because you're passing this beauty and this wisdom that you've learned in your life onto people in a way that they're nourished. And it makes total sense to me that you would be prosperous. So yay you, and yay everybody.
So Lynne, tell me more about your book.
Well, I tell stories, many, many stories. I actually should tell you, and particularly this, because our friend Jack Canfield. I wrote this book because Jack made me do it. Now, Jack is so good at getting people to write books, and he did it to me. We were speaking at an event in, I think it was Santa Barbara or San Diego, and I told some stories. And at the end of all the speeches. Jack was one of the speakers too. He actually organized the thing. He told me, he said, Lynn, you have got to get these stories in a book. I mean, you've just got to do it. These stories are so powerful. And I'm the story guy. Jack wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, as you know, and make sure everybody knows that. And I'll support you. And I said, I'm not a writer. I'm a talker. He said, well, I'll help you. You come to my house in Santa Barbara. I'll get a group of people in my living room, 20, 30 people. You stay for 2 or 3 days and I'll interview you and I'll get them out of you. And we'll record them and we'll transcribe them, and that'll start the process of a book. And so
Wow.
I said,
Wow.
okay, yeah. And he did that. And
Oh,
I told something like 57 or 167 stories in 2 or 3 days, and he got a caterer and we sat around the table, and we had 2 bar stools in his living room. You've been there.
yes.
And then he had a video equipment, and his wonderful team was there. And I told story after story after story. I cried. He cried. I talked about everything. And so I had this bank, you could say, of stories, all transcribed. And then, of course, I thought, now what am I going to do? And I said, thank you to Jack. I love you so much. Thank you. I'll do something with this. And then years went by. I'm so embarrassed to say. It was too much. I didn't know what to do with it. It was too big, too many stories. How do I decide which ones? And what do I say? And what's the through line? And then my friend Mary Chase, I want to honor her in this thing, because she said to me, well, Lynn, I've known you for 40 years and I'm a writer. I'm a collaborative writer. I'm a ghostwriter. I'm in the background. I'll help you put this into a book. If you meet with me 3 hours a week for the next year or 2, we'll create this book. And she did, and it happened.
Wow.
So it got born because of Jack Canfield and Mary Chase, and my name is on it. But and then Van Jones wrote the foreword, and he's my dear friend, and he pushed me to write it too. But I really must say, without that kind of collaboration, one of the chapters is about collaboration. I don't know what I would have done in my life. I don't do anything by myself. I'm a total collaborator. And with collaboration, I can do almost anything. And without it, I feel like I'm sort of just one person doing the best I can. But collaboration for me is really, really key. And that's what made the book happen.
Wow. Do you know that Jack did the same thing to me 3 times?
He did?
He called me up one day and said, one of our books is stuck and I know it has a great chance of being a New York Times top 10. Can you please help me finish it? It's Chicken Soup for the Parent Soul.
Oh.
And I helped him finish it, and it did hit New York Times top 10.
Oh my God.
And then because it was so successful, he said, Raymond, you're the most famous Canadian I know. Would you please write Chicken Soup for the Canadian Soul? And after it came out and it was a huge success, he confided in me, Raymond, you're the only Canadian I know. But then I was giving a speech about, oh my gosh, I'm stuck for words. I was giving a speech on the power of wow. And after it, he came up and said, that should be a book. Can I please co-author that book with you? Yeah, Jack, you can co-author that book with me. And so it's happened 3 times with me, and it has changed my life. It's
oh my God, he's such a gift, isn't he? My God, what a
I understand that they got an unsolicited offer for Chicken Soup for the Soul Enterprises, and he sold it for $60 million. He got half, and Mark Victor Hansen got half, and he decided he was going to put his half in a 1-year note and not touch it for a year, except that he broke the rule for you and made a donation to $1 million to buy an airplane for the indigenous people in the rainforest.
Well, he didn't give $1 million, that we were raising $1 million, but he made a significant contribution.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so I don't want to overstate it, but it was significant.
Right.
Actually, I think it started out as a loan, and we were going to pay him back, and then he said, "Oh, keep it."
Keep it.
And we bought an airplane for the Achuar to have their dreams come true, so they could have they have no roads in their territory, so they have to go in and out by plane, and they were using renting the oil company planes, and the pilots
Right.
and the missionary planes and pilots, and they wanted their own airplane, and he made it happen, and other people did too. But that was a wonderful, wonderful moment when Jack broke his rule and made a nice contribution that I will always be grateful for.
Right. And I remember you invited me to sit down with you and have lunch. And during lunch, I somehow came up with a large amount of money that you requested to help one of the Ashwar go through hospitality school.
Right. Oh, I forgot about that, Raymond. Thank
Yeah.
you again for that. Yeah, that's
And
great because
so,
they have their own eco lodge there. Yes, you did.
yes. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And so my warning to any of my listeners, you have the honor to have lunch with Lynne Twist. Make sure you have a big checkbook in your back pocket because you'll want to do it. She's magic, completely magic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Raymond. Well,
So
I
just
love that.
just from the point of view of sensationalism, tell us the names of some of the big people who are in the stories in your book.
Well, let's see. I tell a story of Van Jones, his fall from grace when he was in the White House with Obama and then had to leave because he was attacked by the media. I tell the story of Azim Kamisa, whose son was murdered by a gang member, and then he not only forgave the gang member, but helped to raise this young man and while he was in prison and give him a job when he came out. I tell the story of Jane Goodall and her incredible life story and how she became the icon that she is today. Let's see. Then there's a lot of people in there whose names you wouldn't know. Narcisa Macienza, who's a Shuar woman who began a women's movement in a warrior culture where women were very much in the background and their job was to have babies and provide food. And she stepped forward and started what we call an Ikiamanukuri, which is for a while was called Jungle Mamas in English. And it means women are the defenders of the forest. I tell the story of Minari Ushiwa, who's one of the great indigenous leaders of the Amazon. He's the leader of the Zapara people who are facing extinction. There's 535 of them left. He's their leader, their shaman, and he's committed to having the Zapara people not only persist and survive, but continue to hold their job of being the custodians, so they call themselves the custodians of the spirit of life in the sacred headwaters of the Amazon, the most biodiverse place on earth. So those are some of the stories I tell, and I also tell some of my experiences with Mother Teresa because she was such a huge teacher for me. Buckminster Fuller, who was a huge teacher for me. Werner Erhard, who was a huge teacher for me. So, and Jack Canfield, who was a huge teacher for me.
Yes.
I should have put you in there, Raymond. How did I miss you? Oh my God. Maybe I'll do a sequel all about you.
So I'm going to be buying multiple copies of your book. I
Yay!
want to buy them. I want to buy them directly from you so that you can autograph them.
Okay.
Because I want to give them away as gifts at my
Okay.
events.
Oh, thank you.
When
Yes.
someone does something particularly wonderful or asks a really clever question or gives me a really clever answer, I'm going to just have my jaw drop and say, I would like to bless you. And I'll give them a copy of your book autographed.
That's wonderful. Well, there's a whole promotion, a book place called Porchlight. And Porchlight, I'm signing 1,000 books for Porchlight. So you can order them from Porchlight and they will send them to anyone
Oh,
you want,
wow.
or send them to you. And you get a nice discount too. And you get a download of the first chapter for free and shipping is free. So Porchlight books would be the way to do that if you're going to buy lots of copies. Bulk copies are very available through them. And that's a good way to do it. And that also counts on the New York Times bestseller list
Right.
and all the other lists that I know everybody is.
So my clients can go there, even if they just want
Porchlight
to buy
books.
Porchlight singular,
Yes.
porchlightbooks.com.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Oh, I should look, but yes, that's close enough. You can find it, Porch Light.
You can find it. You're funny.
I should have
I'm
all that stuff. I mean, I think somebody might have sent it to you, but it's never at my fingertips.
so something like
No,
porchlightbooks.com.
it is definitely Porch Light Books. If you put Porch Light Books in there,
I
Google,
see.
it'll come.
And you can get a discount even on one copy, and you get it autographed.
I
Okay,
don't know about a discount on one copy, a discount on
I
both
see.
copies. But
Okay, good.
they have a special, they have a special going until November 29th, which is the day the book ships. And you can order, like I have a friend who's ordering 300 for her clients. She has a big company, and she's gonna pay for the 300 books and then send emails to all her clients saying, I paid for this wonderful book. I want you to have it for my holiday gift. All you need to do is click here and put your address in, and you will receive a signed copy of the book by Lynne Twist.
Wow.
So they do that service, and she's getting 300, and she gets them at a very good price, and shipping's free. And I've signed them. I've signed them all.
Right.
There you go.
I will make sure that this podcast episode, we issue only on Thursdays. I'll make sure it's issued right after November 29th, so they can immediately go in. They don't have to wait. Can
Oh,
immediately go in and
excellent.
buy it.
Perfect.
Or buy it from
they-
Amazon or wherever you
Yeah,
wish.
they can buy it anywhere they want. That makes me happy that you're going to tell people to buy it and that you're going to give it to people. I love that. I love that.
Yes. Well, I'm so blessed that I know you, that doing things to support you is a joy for me.
Thank you, Raymond. I'm so blessed I know you. I love you very much.
And just a few moments before, I was chatting with our mutual friend, Martin Root, and he
Oh.
said, "You're speaking to Lynne Twist and Martin Root today? A day for you, Raymond."
It must be a heaven on earth day for you.
Exactly. So he required me to say hello to you.
Oh, great.
What a wonderful time. I wish we could talk for a whole day, but thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you as always. I can't wait to see you again. Save a spot for me high up on your hug card whenever we're going to see each other again. And I love you. And to my clients, please get one or more copies of her book. She's such a senior person. She's so wonderful. There it is, Living a Committed Life, Lynne Twist. Oh, wow. It's so beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Buy copies and give it away as gifts for the holidays. When your friends finish reading it, even before that, they will call you and give you a big thank you. And you might say, Raymond, how can you say that? You haven't read her book. It's not out yet. At the time we're recording this, it's before November 29th. So I haven't seen it yet. No one has seen it. It's because I know Lynne, and I know she would do nothing but wild excellence. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Bless you, bless you, bless you. I'm so grateful that I know you. I really am. This word grateful it really means the great fullness of life. That's what it means. And you are part of the great fullness of my life. So thank you, Raymond. I love you so much.
Wow. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Lynne, you're amazing. You're beyond amazing.
Oh,
I'm so
thank
happy.
So are you in your cabin right now?
I am. I'll show you. Let me show you. I'll get rid of my background.
Oh, look. Oh, cool.
Yes, you can see these are huge, huge wooden
Beams.
logs. Yeah, they're not just the normal ones that are about 6-inch and round. They're gigantic.
Wow.
Yeah, deer come and visit us.
And are you doing everything online now? Is that all your teaching is online, and books and stuff?
Everything.
Really?
Everything. For almost 40 years, I've been on stage, and I thought I was a professional speaker, but I now realize that for all those years, I was a professional traveler.
Wow.
I would get a gig in some crazy place like Singapore, Perth, Australia, Slovenia, and it would take me 2 or 3 days to get there, and then a 90-minute speech and 2 or 3 days to get back.
Mm.
So I thought I was speaking, but
Yeah.
actually I was just traveling.
With a
And
little speaking in the middle.
that's right, but tiny bit. And now if I have to give a speech in Slovenia, for example, for half an hour, I can finish dinner, say to Karen, I'll be back in half an hour, give a speech to Slovenia and be back in time for dinner, in
Oh
time,
my
sorry, in
God.
time for dessert. And
And do
so
you
I,
have you still have a big following? Is it grown a
yes,
lot?
yeah,
Yeah.
I've got about
Wow.
100,000 names on
Oh my
my
God.
email list. And
Wow.
I can now give more speeches with less effort, less
Yeah.
wear and tear in my body,
Mm,
more speeches. I feel like I'm retired
mm.
because I just sit in my log cabin just every hour or so I run over and kiss Karen and run back because I'm just so happy to be home all the time. So it feels like I'm retired, but I'm giving more speeches. It's the
Amazing.
strangest, most wonderful thing.
And tell me about your daughter.
Sweet Emma, she's 21 now,
Wow.
and she's studying. She's in university. She found an online university, Western Governors University, and she's loving it. She's studying. She says she might do her master's degree, and she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life yet, but everything she does just works out magically. She's such a powerful lady.
Is she? And where does she live? Does she live in Vancouver, or does she live in Toronto, or?
She lives with me. She
Oh, she
lives with
does.
me. Yeah.
Oh,
But right now
awesome.
she's in Ireland at a
Oh,
spiritual 90-day spiritual retreat.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
90 days.
90. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
cow. Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. And how's Karen?
Uh, she's such a gem. So I don't know how I got so blessed
Mm,
to be with
mm,
her. She's so
mhm.
wonderful.
Oh, how
Yeah.
great. Well, are
So
you going to the TL? Where's the next
yes,
TLC? I
yes,
usually can't
January
go.
in Mexico.
In Mexico, in Cancun or somewhere?
Yeah, I can't remember where.
Because I usually can't go in January. I'm usually in Blue Spirit down in Costa Rica. And then I can never go in July because that's when I go to the Amazon. But maybe I could go. Maybe I could go. I should go because of my book, shouldn't I?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I
TLC.
mean, everybody will want to promote it.
Maybe I better figure that out. Oh, you're going to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, that's an incentive and big incentive. I can hug you soon.
Yes. And if you wish, I'll stand beside you. And when someone says, yes, I'll promote, I'll press the email button. I'll make
Okay.
sure they do. I'll say,
Okay.
listen, that's a commitment. When you make a commitment to somebody, that's minor. When you make a commitment to Lynne Twist, you better live up to it. She's up to big stuff.
Oh my God. Okay, my friend. Well, thank you so much for this. It was so fun talking to
It
you.
was.
And maybe I'll see you in January. I'm going to work on that right now, actually.
Please.
Cool. I haven't been
Yeah.
in a long time. Okay, love you.
Okay. Love you. Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.